an NRLW tomorrow, a couple of matches as well. So we're busier than ever on Fox League, and we're happy to be so. It's a real privilege to bring you this great sport. Kalyn Ponga leads the Newcastle Knights out onto the Sydney cricket ground. Kenny lighted up game one of the season. As a neutral observer, I hope he does.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, the ability of Kalyn Ponga, but, you know, gee, you would have loved to have seen him play with those great Newcastle Knights sides when Joey Johns and Baderis and all those sort of guys were playing. It helps when you've got good players around you. I'm not saying that the players he's playing with at the moment aren't any good, but those guys were excellent at their craft. Here comes the Roosters.
That is a great shot here on Fox League. Through the banner, you think of all the teams that have done that run out over the years. The famous grand final vision here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Roosters welcome back a three-time Premiership winner in Luke Keary.
Yeah, what a wonderful player he is too. And we've seen him on short sides, and just hearing that Sam Walker will take that little bit of a back seat there. He'll take control of the first three sets anyway, but I think you forget how good this bloke is at setting up his outside men. And there's the young fella, Sam Walker, always difficult in your second season after you've played so well in your first. So I think having Luke Keary next to him will help enormously.
How good is this? 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon at the Sydney Cricket Ground. If you shut your eyes, you can imagine Frank Hyde's down on the sideline card table, ready to call the match of the day. Here we go, folks. Super Saturday on Fox League, Roosters and Knights. And out of the fingertips of Keary. They abort disaster there. And Collins tackled half a metre from the goal line. That's a great start, Newcastle. Joey Manu is back. First game since round 24 last year. We know the history of that. And you can see the Roosters, if you're not aware, they are wearing the Mullumbimby Giants socks today, all part of their efforts to help flood relief. So it's a very different looking lower leg of the Roosters today. And Roosters chant goes up early as they head towards the cricket square. Crichton on that run, and right side Keary will provide the first kick of the day. Ponga perfectly placed at the back. He's got Anari Chuala on left wing and Dominic Young on the right. And he's come all the way across the field, keen to take a run. Both wingers want to get a touch early. Chuala it is with a run, their leading try scorer from last year. And the Knights are 10 metres inside their own half. Here's Big Clem. David Clemmer, 64th game for the Knights today. Right in the centre of the cricket square. Clune pushes along left, and Fitzgibbon, as I mentioned, not there for the start of last year. Didn't play until round 9. He's a go-to. Clune. Nice first set, the Knights. 22 metres from the Roosters line. And in position for an attacking kick. Clifford does that. It's a little shallow. And as a result, that wasn't executed all that well. Momirovski's ended up with a ball. I dare say they could have done a little better than that.
Well, you got to compete, especially early in the game like that. They have the Roosters on their line for the first set. Coming across there, no one competed for the footy there.
Tell you what, the Roosters got Billy Smith way out on the sideline, no winger back. He's been putting his hand up. I wondered whether there was a little set play they had ready to go to kick early and have him chase. He was holding his width right out on the sideline. Oh, drop ball. They won't get the chance. Clifford is onto it. What an opportunity, Newcastle. 12 metres away from the line. Clemmer takes the run. Almost crashes his way all the way to the upright. Real pressure on the Roosters, and it's of their own doing why they find themselves here. Clifford stumbled as he got to the line there. Scored a solo try in the trials against the Bulldogs. He may have been hurt, in fact, when he fell there. He's a little ginger. Saifiti of the Jacob kind running there. Daniel on the injured list. 10 from the line. Randall switches them back to the right. Pass was fired across. Good juggle from Gagai. Equally good the defence of Smith. So far so good, the Roosters' defence. Clifford, centre field, Kurt Mann. Then the stab from Clune. Oh, 2 kicks. 2 kicks so far from Newcastle. I'm not that fond of either.
Yeah, come off the side of the boot that time, Clune. And they rush you into making decisions, don't they? The Roosters got speed of the line. After they made the mistake, they defended that set. It was Manu who came away with the drop ball on the 20-metre line. Newcastle didn't throw that much at the Roosters.
One step, hold now, go 3.
I mentioned right at the top, soaking in the sunshine at the SCG. Hannah Hollis in for a treat this afternoon. Good afternoon, Hannah.
Oh, good afternoon, gentlemen. Now, while it's dry and sunny today for us at the SCG, the Roosters are throwing their support behind the communities affected by the floods. Bossy, you mentioned it in regards to the Mullumbimby Giants socks that the players are wearing today. In addition to that, the club and the East Group have donated $50,000 to the region to show their support. But beyond the fast pitch today, I have to tell you about the gusto, the wind that's down here. Trent Robinson and James Tedesco spent plenty of time on field in the pre-game addressing that.
Flags fluttering away at the top of the member stand here. But given the weather we've had recently, we'll take this every day of the week. Knights back with it. Ponga's catch of a Kiri kick was safe. Newcastle back towards halfway. A chance to walk down memory lane with Blocker. His first visits to the SCG, what it was like as a player. The NRLW, it's been a historic day playing at the SCG for the first time. It's a thrill for everyone the first time they come to this ground.
Well, it was unbelievable, just sitting in the member stand getting change and knowing that the great players had been there a long time before any of us were born. Just a great buzz. I played in the last test match ever here, Andrew, against the Kiwis in 1986, so haven't played a test match here since. There's a penalty to the Roosters. Done well early. They've been under the pump, haven't missed a tackle yet.
Jared Sutton, referee, ruling there. And the Roosters will go on the attack inside the Knights' half.
Take the line, boys. Wait for the foot. Beyond yardage. Hold. Go. No tackles.
This is Tupanua with a run. Gee, breakout year in terms of tries for Satilli last year. There's another player who developed as a go-to. As others were injured around him, he was a regular starter.
Off that board. Chris Randall.
Double-figure try tally, best of his career. Connor Watson in a dummy half. And now for Keary, delivering short, and that offload that went Newcastle's way, perhaps drop ball rather than pass. Ponga onto it.
There's been some solid defence early in this game. Now, there's two players that have forced errors there on the Roosters ball runners. Jacob Saiafidi and Tyson Frizzell. Just both going into that tackle. And they're the men that have forced the errors early on the Roosters.
Nice and physical early, no doubt about that. That time Fletcher Baker was penalised, and it's Newcastle that will go on the attack now in their opponent's half. Looking out on the old showground side of the ground. These days it's the entertainment quarter.
Victor, straight up.
Roosters defending inside their own half. And was pushed down a second time there. Let's see what they can do at the end of this set in the way of a kick. Randall up with Kurt Mann. They've gone early with Ponga kicking over the top, and it bounces on. He needed to sit up. Tuala chasing through. So no result from 3 kicks now for Newcastle.
It's been pretty ordinary, their kicking game to start. That time it was Ponga just come off the side of the boot, but you've got to dig in the line a little bit more than that before the kick. It was a little bit early. It was easy to read there for the Roosters. Ball just trundles into touch. They've got the footy back now.
Tupou it is with a run. Starts the year bearing down on Sean Kenny Dowell on the Roosters all-time try scorers list. He's 3rd. SKD at number 2.
Up and square. Hold.
And slow play the ball there coming from Manu, but he's been looking for work. Joey on his return. Walker takes them left side.
Move now, Tom.
We wish this young fella all the best. Billy Smith, let's hope injuries are behind him. Just 5 games since his debut in 2019, left centre for the Roosters. On play 4, Keary and Tedesco is in the play, but nice defence there from Fitzgibbon. He wasn't letting him out of his sights. Bad pass over the top. Second choice kick up is Walker. Bombing out Young's way. He's close to the sideline. Does very well. Dominic Young getting to ground quickly. Even contest here through 8.5 minutes. Super Saturday on Fox League. And Victor, the inflictor, handing out a little bit of pain there. This was the take of Young. He's a work in progress after his 6 games in the NRL last year, the Englishman. Frizzell. Quite a number of players here you're wishing bad luck with injuries has turned around. Lindsay Collins, Keary. Last tackle play, Clifford kicks from inside the 40. Floating bomb. And Manu was onto it, links up with Tedesco. They've got a whole line across. Tupou will come in for a run, and it's a good one. Oh, have a look at Tupou. The giraffe is through. Back to Keary. Floats it over the top. This is superb rugby league. Tedesco scores for the Roosters. Great play and a great play and a great player. What a try to open proceedings here.
Well, it was a magnificent run by Tupou. Just straight through the middle of the ruck there. A little bit slow to get back the Newcastle Knights defenders. Look at the staggered line there, straight through. But what about the anticipation of this bloke? Luke Keary, straight onto the ball, the pass over the top. Tedesco skips out of a tackle. And broken field, that's how good they are. You've got to go at these guys in numbers. Tupou, such a strong player. Keary with the support. The pass over the top, he summed it up straight away. And Tedesco in for try number 1 for the Roosters.
Yeah, what about Tupou straight through the meat curtain? Man, head down, he knows it. He's let them out, and Keary to Tedesco. Welcome back, Luke. And you find Tedesco to finish off, who's now 98 tries. They might just check for interference in the middle when Tupou was coming back through traffic.
Just didn't adjust their defensive line quick enough too. They were staggered, weren't they? The Newcastle Knights. I'm going to have a look at it here.
So look for Connor Watson. He's up there. The trainer's out there. There's
as Daniel Tupou runs past, Connor Watson's in front of the ball, obstructing David Clemmer from getting to make a tackle. We have a decision.
No try.
David Clemmer was going to get to Daniel Tupou.
But I reckon you've got to ask the question, would he have made that tackle? But if you go right down to the rules, it'll be no try. But had David Clemmer the pace to get across there to close that, to close the gate there, I doubt it. But anyway.
Talk about dodge a bullet, Newcastle. Unbelievable for them.
That's what they've ruled, James.
Yep, there's a ruling.
No, well, if he stops him, if he's in front of the ball and stops him from making a tackle, that's obstruction.
And that's fair enough. I mean, they've applied the rules there. Yeah. Tupou from the backfield. The players are statues, and you see Dave Clemmer. There's Connor Watson. He's not moving side. Look, the motion of Clemmer. Watson isn't obstructing David Clemmer because Tupou's running at a rate of knots. So Clemmer's running a different line to running towards Connor Watson. He's gone before Clemmer even had a chance to try and ready himself for a tackle. But let's move on. No score, and Newcastle now have the ball 20 metres out from the Roosters line. What a turn for them. Out for Fitzgibbon. All that started with a Clemmer offload there.
Good to see too, Clemmer offloading the footy.
And this time across, there is Clemmer again. A lot of touches early, can't offload that time.
Hold here, Connor. Go to
Watson. Oh, juggle by Clune. Set restart, Knights. That would have been disappointing to lose it, having had a set restart. 10 metres away from the line. Randall. They go out the back and they will take a dash at them. Kurtman. Tupanu with a tackle. This time Randall. Clifford. Like it when he runs himself. He's got a step in him. Clifford. They go short side. Frizzell wrestling almost to the line. Now Randall. They've had 4 tackles. Ponga with it. They're going to try and run it. Clune went short. possibly forward. Roosters fans didn't like it. Clune's got it back. Last tackle, Newcastle Knights. 10 metres away. Ponga's got the job of the kick this time. Putting it out to the centre. It bounces. It took a leg spinner's turn. And Tupou's up with it. And from that, now Smith to Desco. On the spin. Put him down for a tackle bust. 148 of them last year. Thank you very much. Smith again. Billy Smith playing at the SCG. That's got a nice ring to it as well. To the former champion Dragons half. This time across to Manu.
Surrender! Hold me up, Chris.
And Walker to play it 40 metres away from the Knights line. And they've got back into their groove in this set.
Tackle, Marcus, Chris.
Last it is Baker into the starting side. Waria Hargreaves and Tiaho coming off the bench. Kick to the corner. Ponga threatened and goes to ground.
I think that's in the game plan too from the Roosters. Make Ponga kick the ball or catch the ball on the full with good chases. Just don't give him any room. And that was a perfect example right there.
12 years since Newcastle last won a game against the Roosters away from Newcastle. That was in Gosford way back in 2010. So the record is not flash. The second time these two sides have actually clashed in round one. The last time was 29 years ago, 1993. Knights with it, 5 inside their own half. There's Frizzell. Collins engages with him there, a couple of Origin players. Back away for Clifford. And Tedesco retreating back in front of his posts to bring it back for the Roosters. Tupou getting a lot of touches and they've been very good so far. Daniel Tupou.
Wait, David. Hold. Go one.
And now Manu in from right centre.
Stand now. I'll kick Kurt. Go two.
This is Watson on with Crichton. And Saifiti was first man in there. Playing it simple here, the Roosters. Watson to Desco. Right up in the ruck and over the advantage line. Very strong, James Tedesco. Roosters with Keary. Kicking for placement. He's got Ponga on the run, right to the corner. Ponga with it, looks up, sees red, white and blue everywhere for the Roosters. Did well to fall through the line there. I think the Roosters fans saying, well, what about obstruction there? Just because it's not a try. If he runs behind retreating players, is that not obstruction as well? Hard to argue.
Yeah, pretty hard to argue there, but you just have a look at the strength of the Roosters too. We already mentioned Hargreaves and Takiaho about to come onto the field. Well, once they do, there's no respite here for the Newcastle Knights. They're two great replacements. It's been an energised start from both sides. Just the kicking game of the Newcastle Knights needs to improve.
There's Clifford, blocker from inside the 40, but more height than length. And oh, look at the bounce. Boy, oh boy, this pitch is playing some tricks at the SCG. And Newcastle have come up with a ball off the wrong end. Dane Gagai, welcome back to the Knights. Was it the wrong end? Was it a flipper from Waddy? I'm not sure. But it was a devil of a bounce for James Tedesco.
Well, Hannah Honnis had mentioned the breeze and the swirling wind down there. I thought he had every chance to get under that ball there. It must have swirled around, let it bounce. It was a horrible bounce for Tedesco. Great chase. Never give up on the chase there. Gagai scoops up the football and scores right under the post. Against the run of play, I might add. Roosters have probably had the better of the first part of the first half, but they're on the scoreboard. That'll give them plenty of confidence. Great chase there from Clifford. Never give up on the chase. Gagai right on the spot to collect that ball and score under the posts.
Well, I said off the boot, it probably wasn't the kick that he intended. It went more high than long. But on seeing that, he took off. He led the chase, the man who kicked it. And when it took that, not just one bad bounce, it took two for Tedesco. Clifford was right there, and Gagai gets the reward for Newcastle.
And those little plays are pretty easy to give up on, Andrew, because the ball's going up high. They're a long way out when they put the kick up. They would have expected James Tedesco to at least attempt the ball on the full, but that wasn't the case. Great chase from Clifford. Tremendous effort. And he'll convert here.
Dane Gagai played 128 games in his first stint with Newcastle. And he comes back with a try today. Clifford converts. Well, boy, he put some oomph into the kick. He's kicked it way into the grandstand. 6-0 scoreline. Knights over the Roosters. Here's the first one. So that one's the wrong and then the leg spinner. And then it comes loose. Gagai onto it.
Yeah, they're both fullbacks that you've got to really put kick pressure on. Can't allow him any sort of room. Tedesco, I don't think he'll let the next one bounce.
Knights actually have had some good round one form, as their fans will know. The last few seasons they've won 4 years in a row. Their opening match.
Well, I mentioned it before the game, how good they are at completing. 11 from 11 in this game to start against the Roosters. They're giving themselves plenty of chance of the first scorers. Let's see what they can come up in this set.
Right block, quite a contrast. 11 of 11. Roosters are 6 of 10. That's the early possession. And switch of play. Ponga there, straightened, threatened, offloads. Oh, that's a missed chance. And he knows it. Fitzgibbon.
You've got to be so alert when you're playing with elite players like Ponga. So strong in the hips, he can bust tackles. He got through, got the arm free. Pass was beautiful. Should have swallowed that one. A little bit dirty on himself there, Fitzgibbon. It was a great opportunity after scoring points. The next set, they couldn't get to the halfway line.
Yeah, wow. That I don't know where that ends there. That was a real chance.
Tyson.
Maybe not try, but they're going to be deep down in Roosters territory. Did you say back-to-back tries potentially looming? The turnaround is Roosters start a set inside the Knights half. Loving the ebb and flow of this game early. Yes, Knights have themselves on top of the scoreboard, but I don't think anyone is writing off the Roosters at this point. Watson and to the right, Radley and Keary, nice and crisp. Finds Crichton on the end of it. He's got that guard all the way down the left arm like long sleeve. There is Smith on a loose ball. Young's made some good decisions so far in the game. Back with Radley, then for Collins.
Last tackle, Chris, get square.
Sutton calls last tackle. Roosters kick. Walker right to the corner. In fact, Tupou keeps it in the field of play. Trapped by the Knights. Comes loose Tupanua. Tackle count restarts. Walker offloads. Tedesco, the swerve and step. Back out of the cul-de-sac. Linking up with Baker. And this is a full set, back-to-back for the Roosters. Knights will do well to hang on here.
1 foot, let's go. Go, 2.
They've had 1 try disallowed. Radley, Keary, Walker, fingertips, Billy Smith. Just caught. Frizzell and Ponga in a try-saving role there. Now for Keary. Kick gets to the in-goal. Covered up by Mann. He's decided to offload. Cluner's with it. He's stuck in the chook pen. Adam Clune, line drop out.
Tell you what I do enjoy, Sam Walker and Luke Keary, their quick hands. Put the pressure on the outside men. There's the kick that Tupou just knocked back in field. A little bit lucky there. A little bit of desperation from both sides to get the football back. They force the line drop out. This is what they do well. The Roosters start to mount pressure. They haven't been able to do that at the other end, the Newcastle Knights, because of their kicking game. Here's the first dropout.
And it's a low one, still covers almost 50 metres. It will go 50. That's an interesting dropout, that one. Some of the bounces we're getting, and that included there, it suggests the surface is absolutely bone dry. Baker on this run. Jared Waerea-Hargreaves is stalking the sideline right now as, again, Walker takes it up to the line. The defence brutal by Newcastle on the edge. That was really good on Smith. Buried at the SCG there.
I suppose the thing you got to do when you play against the Roosters, and they've been up and around the top teams over the last 5-6 years, you've got to match their physicality, and they've done that early in this game. The Knights, they've forced the ball free at least on 3 occasions, so through good hard defence. You've got to match them.
I love the fact that was centre on centre Dane Gagai. Veteran on the, well, you can't call him a kid, but he's still a rookie in terms of the NRL, Billy Smith. Big points victory there to Gagai. Barnett is on for Newcastle. One of them all valuable forwards. On halfway. Oh, ball's come loose.
That'll be a scrum.
Will there be a challenge? I don't think Mitch's body language suggests he'll be raising any complaints.
Dominic Young in the Newcastle Knights side, playing on the right wing. He's in all sorts at the moment, just with the trainer. I wonder if Luke Keary and Co will look up there and say, well, let's work one in the middle and we'll go straight back to him. He's injured. Barnett comes away with the error, just trying to fight for every inch there. The ball comes free.
In response to the New South Wales and Queensland floods blocker, the Australian Red Cross has launched the flood appeal to provide assistance to affected communities. To support, please visit nrl.com/flood relief. And as Hannah mentioned earlier, well done the Roosters. 50k pledged to flood relief. I hope you're getting the drying weather that we're having in Sydney. So much work to be done. Roosters with the ball on halfway. Waerea-Hargreaves was a decoy, and there is Collins. You know, limited football last year, broke into Origin the previous season. He's a terrific front rower, Lindsay Collins. JWH here, 33 years of age, leader of the Roosters pack. Connor Watson going to the right with Radley. If it all clicks, and there's no reason to think it won't, Radley, Keary, Walker, Tedesco. Nice. Oh, Clifford! Oh, Radley may have knocked himself out. Radley's come in hard on Clifford. This could be nasty.
Tell you what I did like, the way Clifford attacked the ball there. They tried to kick back in field. Radley doesn't leave anything in the tank. Look at him attacking the ball here. Let's have a look at the technique. No, just caught. He caught a shoulder on the way through in the head. Trying to smash him there.
Yeah, or that, just the way that the neck concertina's in the tackle there. That's a nasty one. Clifford just propped at the wrong time for Victor Radley. We know he's a tough Rooster.
He'll be right. Shake that off.
Ooh.
Victor.
He's had some concussion issues in the past. Clifford's not exactly going around with a spring in his step after that. Few are after being involved in a Radley tackle. It's Victor the inflicted this time.
Just got his head caught in the wrong spot there.
Oh, damn. Ooh. Tough game, folks.
Just a head clash, both of them.
Being that Radley will be forced from the field, but not at the first instance. Situation last night, Semi Valemei, they'll be hoping the same happens. He
they'll have a look at it on the sideline.
Checked on the field, scores a try, then they said, no, you better come off. Yeah. He scored a try in the interim period. Could that happen for Radley here? Penalty will go the way of the Knights. No set restarts in 2022 when you're inside your 40.
It's a nice place to get a penalty too. Just a little bit of a stoppage in play. Second tackle penalty. Just take their time to get downfield now. Newcastle Knights.
Victor will be coming off, I think you'll find here.
Yeah, they've had a look at it on the sideline.
Victor, it's on report.
So now on
What, the tackle's on report?
Okay, time on.
Now I'm really confused.
So am I.
Now I'm really confused. And so is Victor. I'm going to need the help of greater minds to
Beyond.
Fold
Wait for
all
the
of
foot,
that.
Boys. Hold for the foot.
So
Go, no tackles.
they've
Yep.
in fact ruled a crusher tackle against Victor Radley following that. So we'll go back and review that when we get a chance. Not the tackle on Clifford. It's a crusher tackle from Victor Radley.
Victor, work
So
it out.
Knights
Hold to
32 metres from the
Go,
Roosters
2.
line.
So 2.
And Brazil, 6-0 scoreline.
Hell! Connor release. Go 3. Connor.
As Randall takes him wide. That step from Ponga. Bretman Best played at it when perhaps he could have let it go for Chuala on his outside there. Was it
First one, Knights.
maybe, was it Blocker a late
First one,
decision to
Knights,
play
then
at the ball?
Roosters.
I think it was. I think Kalen Ponga was trying to do the cutout pass there. Best just threw his hand out. Manu come up and put pressure on Best. He makes the mistake. Gee, I'd like to see him get, I said it before in the game, I'd like to see him get some early ball, not
Yeah.
just, you know, go 2-pass runner to him, work to the middle and go back to him all the time. Just get Best to use his power.
We're on the clock here.
Yeah, nothing fancy there. I mean, you played in the Australian side with the likes of Mal Meninga, June Mole. Do you have to set them up? You know, big blokes like that? No, just give them the ball
Give us the ball, give him early ball.
and make it happen.
Clock off.
Tell you what, the blokes on the outside of him, outside of Big Mal and Gino enjoyed it. Scored a bucket load of tries.
Clemmer was down receiving attention when that scrum. There was a bit happening there, and the buzzer's gone off, and it's play on.
Hold. Go.
The referee wasn't holding up for the player being treated. The scrum proceeded as normal.
Lock in, Marcus.
Gee, I'm impressed with Manu's carries. I mean, I know they've been carrying the ball off their own line, but he said he's got a roving commission this year, the centre. Just back, he's made 8 carries already. It's not bad.
Tackle 3 with Jared. The doctors have stopped it for a HIA on
I've got
Victor
to say,
Radley.
I'm
The
really
doctors have
confused by
stopped
this. Nat Butcher's been on the sideline
Tackle 3.
holding the card, the medical card, the Red Cross card, for Radley to go off. He's been there for 2 minutes. Like, if he has to come off for concussion, we had a scrum in the meantime, and we still didn't bring Radley off at that period. It's a strange one.
It's pretty confusing to the people at home watching too. They saw the tackle.
Look, if he's got to come off, you stop that second.
Yeah,
don't you?
off you come.
Release
We had a scrum pack down and we didn't bring him off at that time, and Butcher was waiting on the sideline. Set restart Roosters this time. The vagaries of rugby league, and now they've dropped it on the back of the set restart. Have a look at the Knights players rushing in. We told you before, they have this rule, last one into a huddle to celebrate gets fined. And everyone has come in to celebrate a drop ball there. Poor old Dominic Young has come in from 60 metres away and now has to put a lobster in the till.
Trent Robinson will be a little bit disappointed in the first half here from the Roosters with their completions. Made a number of errors just in contact too. So whether they're trying to get the ball away in contact or not just wrapping it up. Made a number of errors. Just gifting field position again
Angus, hold there.
for the Newcastle Knights.
Knights on the carry back, just 1 try in 26 and a half minutes. This Super Saturday on Fox League, Roosters and Knights. Warriors and Dragons coming up next, and tonight the Storm versus the Tigers. That's your lineup on the best day and night of the week, Super Saturday, exclusive to Fox League. Knights 39 metres away from the Roosters line. Randall, Mann, game 150 for Kurt Mann today. Straight through, Fitzgibbon, oh, tackle Tedesco. A beauty. An absolute perler from Tedesco. Knights are 5 metres away from the line. Make that 5 centimetres. Clifford almost over the line. Man with a juggle. Gets the kick through. How is he there? There must be 2 of them. Tedesco bobs up with a balls blocker.
And what about the speed that he showed too? Fitzgibbon got on his outside and he come across with a perler. And they come back the other side to their right. and somehow, as you mentioned, Andrew, I don't know how he does it, got on his bike to get there to cover up the kick. Tedesco, that's desperation at the back for the Roosters.
Oh, sensational play. This was great by the Knights. This is Clifford going close. Really good contest, this one. There's Tedesco again in a running roll. So Siwa Tokiaho, quick play the ball, and that sets it up for the kick from Keary. He's got it over Ponga's head. He'll go all the way back to the in goal. This is quite an assignment now. Roosters chases there. Young with the ball. He's back over the 10. It's a great sport we fly. That's a huge moment. First round of the comp. Fitzgibbon flying. Could not have been going any faster. He's a big frame, and Tedesco cuts him down with a classic tackle. High quality stuff. Ponga in a dummy half roll. Man, we'll replay the try saver if we get a chance.
But Andrew, he doesn't rest on his laurels. Then he cleans up the kick on the other side of the field, and then when they're set, taken off their own line, he gets himself involved again. Talk about will to win.
Good something onto that one. Newcastle getting the benefit of another penalty. So 40 metres away from the Roosters line, they begin another set. An even share of possession, the two sides, in terms of getting it in an opponent's half. And just the one try, Clemmer. And running into a little bit of a problem there. Clune, he ran out of options, so he goes back to Clemmer. Said, you gave it to me, you have it back. 23 from the line, or in the old days on the 22 just about. Now Man, and with it is Clune, short side, there's Best. This is what he can do. Just caught in the tackle of Momirovski. Clune, Ponga, across field, 10 metres away. Goes to plan B. And taken down by Waria Hargreaves. 5 from the line. Randall goes wide. Clune on the bounce, still a chance. Chuala in recovery mode. 4 tackles down the Knights in pursuit of a second try for the day. Clemmer is offloaded, did well. Clifford kicks off the boot. He's chasing hard, he won't get there. 7 tackles set. Roosters defence really put to the test.
Wait for the foot.
They're playing with confidence, aren't they? The Newcastle Knights have broken this Roosters defence up on a couple of occasions with some long-range breaks. Clemmer in the middle of the park, offloading the football a couple of times. They're playing with confidence, but they'll put a pin in their balloon now. Giving away a penalty, they'll kick downfield. The Roosters again, relentless. Once they get an attacking opportunity, Manu with the carry again. Just a little bit of a lazy arm over the top.
Grab more than a swinging arm. Tyson Frizzell and referee adjudicated that way. Some contact, but no need to get anything more than that. Oh, Jared has been handled by the Knights defence. Kurt Mann.
Kurt Mann, wow. Just what about that for technique? We talk about Victor Radley. Kurt Mann got up underneath. Waria Hargreaves there. Puts him on his back. Another loose ball from the Roosters.
Yeah.
He'll try and make up for it. Waria Hargreaves, you watch.
And went on with it with the ball loose. Kurt Mann, that's a great moment in the milestone game. Game 150. Knights back in possession. Roosters completion rate 12 of 19, 63%. Yet to have an effective offload in the match as the Knights attack straight down the middle. Ponga to Man. Man keeps it alive. 3-on-2 on the left side. Best with it. Took on Momirovski. Got it to Chuala. The Knights take full advantage of a Roosters error. That is a very good rugby league try. And we said about Bradman Best, just give him the ball. Just give him the ball.
Well, it's the way that they've been able to keep the ball alive here. There's some good subtle little plays back on the inside there. to Ponga. And again, Kurt Mann is the one who forced the error. Here's Bespa. Look at the power off the mark. Fends away from Moborowski. Tuala gets over the stripe. Good interchange of passing here, right through the middle of the ruck. Man involved again. Look at this for power. Boom. That's a great fend and offload. That's skill.
That's the classic don't argue, isn't it? The palm right into the centre of the sternum. And that propelled him and brings the second defender in, and overlap created. Yeah, wow. It's a good piece of play. Fend and pass.
I was talking about the offloads a little bit earlier. It really upset the Roosters' defensive line. 7-0. 7 offloads so far in this game, the Newcastle Knights. Trying to play with a fair bit of width. You can see Joey's having an effect on the team. Playing a different style of footy.
Tuala finished last year with a hat-trick and a beaten side in the finals. And he's got one here. I don't think I've ever seen a kicker take the ball back further than Jake Clifford. Now, if Hannah's right, he's kicking into the breeze here. More into it than over his shoulder. He's taken the ball back almost to the 30-metre line. Now, I need a mathematician to tell me how long this kick becomes on the angle. I'll say it's a 40-metre kick, but that's very rough. That's a ballpark figure. He's going to have to do. It's going to have to be a monster strike. Here he goes, Clifford. He kicks. It's going. It's going. He misses. He had the distance. 10-0 scoreline. Knights over Roosters.
It's surprising, isn't it? Been a lot of few surprises in the first round. Look at the ability of this bloke. He's trying to knock that fend down, but it's right in the middle of the chest, as you mentioned. But then the ability, not many blokes can do this, to flick out the back after the fend. That's skill.
Tongue-in-cheek, I mean, Paul Moborowski could get Bradman Best to autograph that palm print on his chest after the game. That was strong.
Going to be a bruise here, you reckon?
Yes. Cupping of a different kind. 10-0 scoreline. Newcastle, 6 minutes away from half-time. Roosters had a try disallowed early. They ruled obstruction when really the defender wasn't obstructed. He wasn't going to get there. But anyway, they went with that decision. And Newcastle have made the most of opportunities against the Roosters side that's made one too many or two too many errors so far. Knights completing at 80%. Roosters at 63. Ponga, and here they go. Right side, they're away again. Dominic Young. No support inside. Still got the pass away. Randall is there. They reload left side. Leo Thompson is on the field. He's offloaded to Fitzgibbon. Leo Thompson in 16 on his NRL debut. Found himself 15 metres away from the line. Boy, oh boy, this is all Knights. These are big minutes now. 5 to go before the break. And it's a double-digit lead already.
Back up, Kurt. Last tackle, Jared. Hold.
Last play. Repeat set would do. Oh, Barnett runs into trouble. Ponga now left foot kick. Here comes Gagai. Tupou takes it dead. Kalen Ponga, well done.
Yeah, that was a better touch there from Ponga. Great chase too. Gagai just puts the pressure on. There's that break again up this right-hand side. Ball keeping alive. Barnett's made a little bit of a difference too. I know he's made that one error when he first come on, but he's straightened the attack up a little bit of the Knights. Running with enthusiasm.
Great panel for halftime analysis here on Fox League. Braith and Asta hosting with Benji Marshall on the team now and Cooper Cronk. Get a breakdown of this first half. Thompson was very impressive in the minutes we saw in pre-season trial against the Bulldogs. Kiwi, former Raider, has earned his spot in this side. Knights 15 metres out and really growing in confidence. Now Ponga. Ball work is good. Everyone knows their role. Fitzgibbon's been a real factor in this game. Randall, Mann, Ponga on the right, then for Clifford, now for Gagai. Gagai looks at the line, is denied. Walker, Tupou. Knights go deep again. Clifford, reload again. Ponga. Captured there by the Roosters.
Well, they've got
Man
better.
thought high.
They've got better as the halves gone on. The Newcastle Knights confident.
Last tackle. Clunes looking for Chuala. The kick to the end goal. It's a brilliant take. And then hit in midair, Manu.
That's not. Yep. If it's a prior act, Shorty, I can go to that.
Mind you,
Hang on, not yet, Luke. No,
technical
wait.
here. Had he caught it in goal on the full, they get 20-metre restart. Now they get a penalty. Isn't the 20-metre restart
A better start? Yeah.
The better outcome?
Keep behind it, boys. Nah.
I suppose it turns out how far that you can kick for touch.
Block, we better get a report on Victor Radley from Hannah Hollis. Hannah?
Bossy, I've been seeking some clarity on the Victor Radley head knock. Now, under the new rules brought in this year, there is an independent doctor sitting at the bunker, and the bunker can make a decision on whether a player needs to come from the field. They have direct communication with the ref, so the bunker in this case has identified Victor Radley's incident as a Category 1. That is the highest rating possible. He will not return to the field of play, and as a result, the Roosters lose an interchange for the rest of the game.
There you go, big news via Hannah Hollis out of the Roosters. So Radley gone, first half. This one across to Tupanua. 30 metres away from the Knights line. Watson, Walker, Keary. Outside men came up quickly for the Knights. Crichton won't be offloading there.
Last tackle, Adam, release.
Final tackle, 2 minutes from half time. Match has been good. Walker's kick. Was there a deflection? Clefford owns it and has the ball for the Knights.
Up, Billy. Marcus, hold. Go one.
Young has come in off the wing.
Give room now. Marcus, Jared.
So they've done a lot right, the Knights, and you're right, Block. The way they've grown in confidence, here's Gagai. Their attack is finishing far better than it started.
Hold. Go three, thank you. Three.
A bit of belief has grown through the course of the 40 minutes. So that ball comes loose. That was on the pitch closest to the members' side. That would have been a good length ball where he dropped it. He's had two. This time he does want a challenge.
Gee, I don't know how the ball's gone forward there. The ball's spewed out the back. So
Need a head in there, Connor.
Poor old Mitch, he's not happy. See what happened here.
is it stripped?
Well, he's not happy with the call. He had a challenge. He's got a captain's challenge there, Mitch. Don't be backward in coming forward, Mitch. If you feel you were wronged there.
Down we go.
1 minute from half time.
Down, Tyson.
Comes a big minute in the context of the game. Newcastle hold the Roosters out. They go to half time curling their mo at 10-0. Holding the Roosters attack with all the stars back.
I like their defence, the Newcastle Knights. What they haven't done, they haven't sat back and watched Keary and Walker play. They've put pressure on them. They've forced the ball.
That's interesting. So, given the 30 seconds, you just about go for goal, don't you? 30 seconds to go. Rather than the big play and try and produce a try, you may as well shoot for points. They will. It'll be the final play of the half to get something on the board, the Roosters.
See, the Newcastle Knights defence, I know they've been good in broken field and a few of their offloads, and they've done so well and grown in confidence as the half's gone on, but it's been their defence. They haven't sat back and watched the Roosters play. They've got up in their face and they've forced at least 4 errors I can remember through solid defence.
By the way, a mathematician listening has told me that a kick from the sideline on the 30-metre line, just to attend to some homework from the first half, the hypotenuse is 46 metres. So you turn the kick into a 46-metre shot by taking it back 30 metres on the sideline block.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, if you could.
Otherwise, I wouldn't remember it.
Yes. So this for their lone point to the half. Walker with a kick is successful. The Roosters are on the board. A highly entertaining first half, although Trent Robinson not exactly entertained by the error rate from his side. But at the break, Super Saturday on Fox League, Newcastle 10, the Sydney Roosters 2. Overall.
Yeah, that's been the biggest problem for them too, and 14 missed tackles too, and they've a lot of loose ball around in contact. So they've played pretty well. the Newcastle Knights, that's Lachlan Fitzgibbon just hobbling back on there. He's made a couple of clean breaks. Now, the left-hand attack of this Newcastle side has been really good with Fitzgibbon and also Best. Once they've got the footy, they've looked very dangerous. He doesn't look real good, does he?
Has he done his hammy coming down the stairs block? I mean, what happened there?
He's in all sorts. Have a look. Look at the grimace on his face.
Well, the stewards would have to scratch him at the barrier. He wouldn't be allowed to run. He was fine going to half-time. Adam O'Brien's probably scratching his head. He was fine in the rooms.
Have a look at him now. It looks like it's getting worse. I think he's calling out to the trainer here.
Something happened to him between the dressing shed door and the playing arena. Watch this space, Lachlan Fitzgibbon. How have you assessed Luke Keary's return, Lockett?
Well, I think, as I mentioned, he's been put under a lot of pressure from the Newcastle Knights defence. They haven't let him play. No, 0 runs for Cleary in the first half and only 1 from Sam Walker. They're the most fancied. But when you look on the other side of the ledger, Jake Clifford and Clune, 7 runs between them. So they've taken on the line and they've played well and they're leading on the scoreboard quite comfortably at the moment.
This, only the 4th game of round number 1, is another big story unfolding here. The Knights, wretched record against the Roosters. They've won only 2 of the past 16 clashes. And here they are, up by 8. They've kept the might of the Roosters trialless in this game. 10 points to 2, second half coming up. Then Warriors Dragons, then Tigers Storm.
Thanks, mate. Stay behind it.
Second half underway, off the boot of James Tedesco. Super Saturday, Fox League, and Thompson it is to run it back. Well, he showed us in the trials he's got something. He's a goer. There's a fair frame of him as well. Adam O'Brien couldn't keep him out. And an early offload. Newcastle, that is where they've really dominated the Roosters. It was from Barnett that time. Offload count is now 8-zip to the Knights. Doesn't necessarily mean that you dominate a game, but it's a stark contrast between the two sides. Randall's done his job and he's in a kicking capacity there, and it's a pretty good kick as well, although it takes the right-hand turn. Tedesco to the corner. They won't mind that. Roosters in the corner rather than restart from centre field.
Do you reckon it's an advantage when you've got a dummy half or an acting half who can kick downfield like that? You don't have to worry about passing the ball back 15 minutes or 15 metres, sorry.
Getting a camera on Fitzgibbon, he's having trouble running this out. Whatever the problem is, whether it's twist his ankle or wrenched his knee of some kind, I can only imagine it happened very late in the half-time, maybe on the warm-up in the room.
Unless the coach has said to him, mate, go out and see how you go in the first 5 minutes. He was so instrumental in their breaks in the first half, so maybe he's just going to see how he goes here in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half. Struggling to get back.
Last tackle Roosters here, 40 metres out from the line. And the kick from Sam Walker. He's kicked it Young's way. Dominic Young is having... He's only played half a dozen games in first grade. I'd say this is the best he's gone today. Handling the occasion at the SCG well. He's had a bit thrown at him. Now for Tuala. One of the try scorers from the first half. Ponga has been good. Clune offloading there for Best. A couple of minutes into the second half. Fitzgibbon's out on the left edge. See if he gets the ball this time. There's Ponga. The swerve, the weave, the step all on show. Randall for Clune. Centerfield for Mann. Dummy to Thompson, right on halfway, goes outside. Now there's a bit of pressure. Gagai, great moves, beats 2, takes on Walker, doesn't find Mann. Oh my goodness. Gagai's work up to the pass was absolute top shelf.
Gee, he's got speed off the mark too. He's got that great ability of beating blokes on the outside. Now that's a couple of clean breaks Newcastle have made in this game of footy. I reckon the coach will be asking, where's the support? Wonderful individual effort there by Gagai to get up the sideline. Watch him take off here with the fend. Gets on the outside of his man. Beats Tupou. And just the execution of the pass back in field, not good.
There's another victory over Billy Smith there. Gagai over the top of Billy Smith, but then also put the fend on Tupou. Let's go down to the sideline. Hannah Hollis.
Vossi, halftime report from Adam O'Brien. Happy with the score and the willingness to grind out that half against a world-class team like the Roosters. He said, respect that, go do it all again. Update on Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Look, he is likely to come off. He is not moving well. He rolled his ankle in the first half, not in the dressing rooms or on his way down to the field like we were maybe speculating, but they're hoping he can stick it out for as long as possible. Trent Robinson, keep it simple. Get back to the Roosters game plan, carry strong and kick to their corners.
There's a strong carry from Waria Hargreaves there. Now on the left side, Nat Butcher with a bit of ball playing, and across for Smith. Swamped by Clifford. Last play, Roosters. This time it's Keary, the kicker. 25 minutes out. Here comes Ponga, and Ponga never took his eyes off it.
Tackle one.
Knights have the ball.
It's a HIA on Kurt Mann. Tackle one with Kalen.
And have a look who was contesting for the football too. It's a competitor, isn't he? The fullback, James Tedesco, right on Ponga.
Waiting, Kalen.
He just goes out the back now, Kurt Mann. In his 150th game, his defence has been that solid. They'll miss him.
Felix Crossland thrown into the play here. You'll see him in jumper 14 on for Kurt Mann.
Marcus square, hold, go two.
They are 15 from their own line. Barnett. 10-2. Knights leading Roosters in a round that's already seen the Broncos topple the Rabbitohs. Now Ponga. How many bottom 8 sides from last year can beat top 8 sides in the first round? If Knights pulled it off here, would that augur well for the Tigers, dare I say, tonight against the Storm?
One can only hope.
You're allowed to show your colours, Block. This ball bounced up into the chest there of Manu for Tedesco now. And the Roosters deep in their territory. 45 minutes in, still no Roosters try. Tupou on the run here.
It's pretty un-Rooster-like. It's the third tackle now, and they're still getting a couple of their forwards back behind the ball. There's generally that urgency from the Roosters. It's a little bit flat here this afternoon.
Few and far between their opportunities inside the Knights 20 this afternoon. Right now it's only a total of 3 tackles down in the danger zone of the Knights. Keary with a skip across field. Tedesco headed towards the sideline. Best is there. It's physical with the Roosters fullback. Last play. Momorovsky in for Keary. Another end-on-end bomb, which Ponga quite easily diffuses. Manu jumped onto the back of Tuala, who just stood his ground, and now Tuala's back with a run. There's no escort play involved. Manu just was almost like he was trying to create some interference. But Tuala had not moved. And the Knights have the ball just outside their 30. Next points are crucial in this game. If the Knights were to stretch out past 2 converted tries, what that would do for their confidence, what it'd do to the Roosters' attack to step it up. And obviously if the Roosters score next, the Knights get a little nervous. You know, we're meant to be leading here. We're the underdogs against the Roosters. Clifford bombs from halfway. He's a mighty kicker. This is awfully high. Manu back there with a catch. Tedesco linking up with Tupou. And another set starts for the Roosters, 20 metres out from their own line.
Hold. Go one. Stay out of the way there, Jared.
Now, this is good defence by Best. They ran a very dangerous line close to the sideline. Crichton, someone had to come back infield with a little more desperation there, I would have thought.
Well, Best just shown his power again. Just have a look at the way he leans back in to try and get back in the field of play there. Crichton is a strong man, international back rower, and that is a brilliant tackle there from Best.
Yeah, take that back. He was trying.
He was trying to
come back infield. He wasn't running the gauntlet. It was just the strength of the defence.
Just little wins like that just start to mount. That's another win for Newcastle. And again, the Roosters turn the ball over in their own half.
So the last win by the Knights over the Roosters outside of Newcastle was in Gosford in 2010. They haven't won in Sydney against the Roosters since 2009. Their previous visits to the SCG against the Roosters, the scoreline goes Roosters' way, 90 points to 22. They're defying the stats here, the Knights. Gagai with the ball. Again, that time he got away from Walker. And they come back left side. Crossland and Thompson shows us a pass. Pesters with the ball now. Oh, Leo Thompson. Put him in the pass, the ball. He got a bullseye there. Randall with Clune and Crossland and Clifford and stretching quickly. Good defence. Tupou didn't hang on to Gagai. Gets him in a second attempt. Bit of Joey about that. Go left. Straight away go back to the right. Reload. Now they'll go left. Ponga and Clune goes long. Oh, Chuala with it. They have gone sideline to sideline to sideline 3 plays in a row. Clune, kick, not high, pushing the back on Tupanua, and the Roosters are back with the ball.
Yeah, they're playing some good footy too. They need to get a result out of their kicks again to start this second half. A little bit too far out there, not enough height on the kick. They're aiming for that upright. And the Roosters hang on again. They look tired. There's a lot of walkers out there. A lot of hands on the hips. You don't really associate that with the Roosters. But they've been made to play, haven't they? The speed of the line here of Newcastle has really put them under pressure.
9.5 minutes into the second half. Tupanua on this run. As the Roosters bench, they're down 1 with Victor Radley ruled out of the game, as Hannah reported earlier. Long kick. Ponga underneath it. Straight away long to Anari Chuala. 12 metres inside their own half. Young is coming off the other wing to take the run. Been very busy, the two Knights wingers today, and their work has been quality. Ponga across to Gagai, and look, his inclusion has been big. You know, they're best on the left side and Gagai on the right. And both playing well. It's dangerous. Ponga just threatening the line, keeping them guessing. 30 metres away, he gets a penalty out of that, Kalen Ponga.
Well, we saw in the first half how he got through and got his hands through. He got that right hand and just offloaded to Fitzgibbon in that first half, and he dropped the ball. That would have been another long-range break, but just the power and the way that he can skip through tackles, fights in the play of the ball to get up and play it quick, wins his team another penalty.
Barnett takes the first carry. Yet another big defensive set ahead of the Roosters here. Clune up to the line. There's Best. He's collared in the tackle there of Momirovski. 9 away. Kiri up in the line in defence, and they're asking some questions here, Newcastle. They are really moving this ball around. If Walker thinks he's safe out on the left side, they come back and attack Kiri, then Walker on the next play. Here's Ponga, back on Kiri's side of the field now. This is really sharp ball movement by Newcastle. They continue to grow in confidence. Clune for Thompson. Leo will play at 11 metres away from the line, last tackle. Oh, he's lost the ball.
And it's a little bit unfortunate for the young fella. Geez, he's made an impact. You generally see blokes coming in their first grade game and easing their way in. Not this young fella. He makes the mistake there, but he's been outstanding for the Knights.
Game on debut to enforce a captain's challenge there. He might have had a case looking at that. I think Jared Warrior-Hargreaves knew what he was doing. Roosters will have the ball. Just still without a try. Last night, the Rabbitohs attack restricted to 1 try by the Broncos' maligned defence of previous seasons. And here's the Roosters with the Stars back. No 4-pointer through 53 minutes. Hutchison is out there now in a dummy half role, replacing Connor Watson, and Watson off at the Sydney Football Stadium end of the ground. And back for Tupanua, by the way, for those watching outside of Sydney. Oh boy, it's getting big. What will be the new Sydney Football Stadium. Looking very impressive. That's been put down by Keary. Knock on against the Roosters halfback. Yet another mistake.
Exactly what I was talking about. They've been relentless with putting the pressure on.
Challenge fired.
Roosters are challenging the ruling of a knock-on into a defender.
They haven't given Luke Keary and Walker any time.
It could only be that he thinks he's knocked it forward but knocked it back himself here, because it looked clear cut from a distance.
Yeah.
That it's gone straight into a night, but be so confident about the challenge as he juggled and knocked it back himself. And yes, he has.
Luke Keary does knock the ball towards his opponent's dead ball line. However, before hitting another player, he actually knocks it backwards. The ball plays on, and then the referee blows his whistle. The challenge is successful.
Yep.
So he'll play the ball, will he?
He will. He'll have to.
So, which means they've got to go back to previous play the ball. So you need to identify who played the ball.
Play the ball, replay that play. So they'll just check with the bunker exactly where that was played, and Gerard Sutton's getting that information right at the moment.
Yeah. Satilli to play it, tackle 4.
There you go.
Okay.
So the process explained there by Gerard Sutton.
There's a head assessment happening, so we can't
Lindsay Collins just about to come back on for the Roosters. They need his starch. He straightened them up a lot. He started in the first half.
Stop. No.
They need him back out there.
Yeah, we're going to wait for
so now we've got Smith
back up,
subject to a head assessment. So he's gone off on the far side of the ground at trainer's instruction. So Billy Smith's off on the far side of the field. And from a distance, I think Tupanua's gone out to left centre. He has. Smith's off the field. Tupanua to centre for the Roosters. And here is Walker kicking. Ponga has called it out. He's there again. He's done that a few times today. The falling catch of Kalen Ponga.
Drew Hutchinson.
There you go. Not much going right for the Roosters here. Giving away a penalty and a soft one from Hutchinson.
And 0 tackle too. Just an easy piggyback out of your own half too. 0 tackle penalty. Hutchinson just on the field, gives that one away. They're up over the 30 now, Newcastle. What a start to this set for them.
Lindsay up square.
It's a weird one with Billy Smith. So he's taken off the field. He actually then ran all the way around the field to get back to the Roosters pitch, which is an unusual reaction to being taken out of the game for a concussion, to go for a best part of a 120-metre run. Knights have the ball 35 metres from the Roosters line. Smith is off to the dressing room. Here's Ponga. And Gagai, who's having a big afternoon. Young is well handled there by Tupanua.
Hold here, Drew. Hold, Jared.
Hello to the new centre. Dominic Young is introduced there. On for Saifiti for his second stint into the game. Knights on last tackle. No points since half-time. It's Adam Clune to bomb towards the wing of Manu, who doesn't get near it. It's kept alive by Fitzgibbon, and Best a bit of a scramble.
Hand over.
So on the kicks, Manu retreating back to wing. There's Kurt Mann, he's back. He's been given the all clear from the HIA, so he'll be right for a return.
Well, I can't remember the Roosters in this half so far being up the other end. They've got to their kicks a few times, but no breaks from them. That's the biggest problem. The defence has been too good from Newcastle.
Well, I can confirm with the stats, you have to have a tackle inside the Knights 20 this half, and had only 7 tackles inside the Knights half since the break. Lean pickings in terms of field position. Here they are, halfway through a set. Only now about to cross halfway. They've lost it again. They've lost it again. They've lost more than that. Clifford sprints away as the Roosters looked at each other. cursing a drop ball. Jared Maria-Hargreaves and Seosiwa Tokiaho back on halfway. Clifford picked it up and went away to celebrate.
Well, that's a perfect example of just keeping playing, and have a look at that. They make the error. The ball bounces up. Everyone just stopped. Walker threw out an arm on Clifford, and Clifford streaks away to score the first try of the second half. But after the mistake, the Roosters just all stopped. There's the arm grab there. Clifford just brushes straight through that. No scramble. And Newcastle are in again. Look at this defence. Put under plenty of pressure. Saifidi on Maria-Hargreaves. Makes him force the pass. The bounce favours Clifford straight away. Scoops the footy up. And away he goes.
He's having quite an afternoon. The former Cowboy, Jake Clifford, who this time last year was still a Cowboy, and then would join up with the Knights and play 13 matches. Get a taste of the finals with Newcastle. He's their first choice kicker now. He's their number 6. And this is a Newcastle side that has got better and better as the game has gone. And now they've got the Roosters in a position where they're frustrated. And out of that frustration comes an error like that leads to a try.
Well, the other thing too, Andrew, they've had a lot of blokes who have contributed to this game. 14 points to 2. Gagai's been unbelievable. Ponga at the back, Clifford, Clune, and up front Clemmer. They've had a lot of blokes that have contributed to this lead. It'll be 16 points to 2, and they are in a hole, the Roosters.
So he converts his own try. The margin is big. It's outside 2 converted tries. I don't think the 2 props want to watch this again. Straight through the breadbasket.
Well, I reckon it was the pressure from Saifidi that made him force the pass quickly before the line. Made him rush. Where Hargreaves rushed the pass. Clifford, look at this clean pair of heels over the ground, 40-metre run.
Long way to go with the Fox Sports Lab, searching the books to find low scores Roosters first rounds. They've gone back to 1934.
What?
To find the only time they've scored less than 2. They lost 3-0 back in round 1 of 34. Here, they've got just the penalty goal on the board.
Mate, how good are our stats, mate? I wonder how far they go back.
They live in dark rooms. They're an odd mob at times. Newcastle 16, Roosters 2. What is this sorcery that's happening in this first round? How's your tips going, Block? I'm 0 and 4.
Well, I'm right next to you. Give me a high five. 0 and 4 myself.
Oh, my goodness. The big Roy Orbison. So, the Knights with the ball outside their 30. It's all fun. There's Frizzell. Good charge again. Time for the Knights to go for the jugular here. Crossland, kick from Clune. He may have been taken late by Collins. Sails down to Manu. They're okay with the Collins challenge. Tedesco now with the ball. But I dare say if the Roosters don't score next, they're gone for the day.
Well, they've got to get themselves in a position to score. They haven't been up over the halfway line so far in the second half. The Knights not only have been able to pile on some tries, but their defence has been outstanding. They're hitting and they're hurting.
Well put. And Seosiwa Tokiaho with that run. So they've got Smith off at the moment with HIA. Radley ruled out of the game. Bit of adversity as well. Kept alive here. Now there's chance. Crichton unloading for Manu, who stopped and started again. The flick pass, he can do that. Crichton's got it back for the Roosters. Don't be writing off Trent Robinson's side. Not yet. Kept going now. Keary, Walker, run, chip. Too hard. Well, he was challenged. The ball's gone into the fence for 4. Well, there's no doubt he was taking it out. There was no chance he was going to get to it.
Oh, there's no way he was going to get the ball there. He's kicked it dead in goal.
I want you to confirm that we haven't got a penalty try, but assess the contact from Phoenix Crossland on Sam Walker.
They do have to look at the interference.
He'll get a penalty for sure, but he's kicked it dead in goal.
Yes, he has. That negates any chance of penalty try. I mean, Usain Bolt's not going to get to it, let me tell you. It was going that fast. There he is. Walker kicks. Crossland is the number 14 that you're going to look for.
All Roosters players are on side.
And there is Crossland who grabs him, and that's penalty. It just remains to be seen whether they decide to send
Looking to determine the contact by Phoenix Crossland on Sam Walker. And
does he trip him
I
here?
can't really have a conversation with you while it's
saying he hasn't wrapped his arms around him. Does he trip him? No.
There are no other players in proximity to the ball, so there's no penalty try. However, Phoenix Crossland has run across the line and taken Sam Walker out. We have a decision.
He might go to the bin here.
Well, that's the thing. That's the big
professional foul.
Penalty is the obvious, but do they regard it as professional foul?
Phoenix.
He's going. He's gone. Yeah. Phoenix Crossland. Big moment of the game. Knights lead by 14. And they are down to 12 for the next 10 minutes.
And let me ask you a question, Andrew. If that happens on the halfway line, does he get sin bin? I doubt it.
Stephen, I don't want to answer your question.
Hang on a sec, Drew. Just got to get the...
I choose not to answer.
Okay.
It's getting too early in the season to get into arguments with you, big fella. Roosters...
I don't want to argue. I just want an answer.
I don't think you can handle the truth, Steve. So
there, Drew, just wait.
Drew Hutchison. 13 against 12. Collins ripping and tearing at the Knights line there. Surely the skills of Keary and Tedesco and Walker unlock a 12-man defensive line here for the Knights. Well, you'd think they would. Going to the right. Keary's ball almost through the hole. That's a pretty good tackle by Best. Short side again. Walker, Manu. Can't find a way through there. That's 4 tackles. Mission done so far from the Knights. And Collins is taken down on play 5. Last play. Big line to the left. Here they go. Keary, Walker, overlap there. Tedesco and a tempo. Knights spirited. Really good from Adam O'Brien's team.
Yeah, but have a look at the numbers they got there too. They went from one side of the field to the other. And there's the sin binning again. Doesn't surprise me, but look at the scramble here. They've gone up and then they've gone on the slide there. And that's great defence. Look at the numbers there and look at the celebrations from the Knights.
Yeah, Dominic Young, 7th game of first grade against the experience of Tupou in his 202nd game. A man who scored 117 tries. Man for man across the back line today. Are you able to say any Rooster has got the better of their opponent? I don't think so.
They've made far too many errors to get themselves into the game, and it just keeps continuing. And they were a man down there, the Newcastle Knights. You could see how hungry they were. There were 3 players around the last ball carrier. Forced him in the touch. They're hungry.
18 and a half to go. You know the Roosters, if you want to go back to last year's game against the Sharks, they were dominated and Walker came to life and they got out of jail late. You can't rest on your laurels against this Roosters side. Tedesco. But will the Knights even give them an opportunity? This is intriguing, the final 18 minutes in prospect here. Tupanua on the run back. 15 metres inside their own half, the Roosters. Hutchison and Collins. Trying to get his team on the front foot. Manu's coming closer to the play. He has a miracle ball in him, doesn't he, Joey Manu? Quick play the ball. Hutchison over the advantage line. Tokiaho can't find another one on the left side. Last play, Roosters. Keary calls the shots left. Out to Tupanua. Tupanua's trying to kick. Ponga's right there. The Knights hang on again. Yes, the Roosters made a lot of ground, but the last line of defence was there.
Yeah, great positional play from both fullbacks here. We've seen Tedesco do it in the first half, and that time it was Ponga. The grubber kick in and behind there from Tupanua. And Ponga right on the spot.
Clemmer back into the game for Newcastle as well. And he was very impressive in his first stint. And a penalty going the way of Newcastle, and they will take all the time in the world here.
See, that's been the problem a few times here in the second half. Every time Newcastle have to battle it out off their own line, the Roosters have given away penalties. Make it easy. First it was Hutchinson. That time I think you might find that it was Lindsay Collins just for diving in at the legs at the last second.
Look out quick, mate. We're dealing with this.
I think he might be put on a report here, will he? Or
it's on report,
yeah,
Lindsay.
I think so. Lindsay Collins for
you don't need any more time.
just spearing in and around the knees. He held up one of the legs and then took him down dangerously to the ground.
Okay, time on.
Pre-season also was under the microscope. Again, Newcastle will take all the time they can on restart of plays just to soak up time.
Wait for the foot here, boys.
They had
hold for the foot. Go.
Crossland sent to the sin bin in the 61st minute. So they've gone halfway through without conceding any points. Here is Clemmer. Some very experienced front rowers on show today. 39 from the line. Ponga's there. Frizzell able to back his way through there. Now they're inside the 30. The margin is 14. Saifiti with that ball. They've put away the offloads for the moment. A count they've won 11-1 today. Man playing dummy half. Clifford for Ponga. Ponga's got them guessing, and Tupanua. Good tackle. Grabbed his man there, the dangerous Ponga. And this time, Clifford's kick right across the face of the goalposts. That is a perfect kick. Brought it down short of the line. Momirovski, very little he could do there.
There was a nice take above his head, but the chase again from the Newcastle Knights. 3 and 4 defenders around the ball, forced him back in the in goal. Forced another line dropout. I hope they keep playing, Newcastle. They've played with plenty of confidence here this afternoon.
Real example of game manager. Look at this line dropout. 70 metres. Clune under it, but I just like that one of the halves has stepped up. Perfect kick. Team leading by 14, 15 minutes to go. Well done, Clifford. Although some of that good work negated by the length of the dropout.
Work out together.
Control the ball. Will that be enough to get them home here? Roosters' completion rate still sitting below 70%. That's where it's been for much of the day. If it's given to play it, he's battled on with that ankle problem. Man, Setterfield, Clifford. Just pushing it off there to Saifiti.
Up and square, lock in, Drew.
There's a real attention to detail in the ball handling area here. Clemmer. And darting across field for Bradman Best to come off a Clune ball there. Last tackle. Needs a good kick. Clune again. He's going to bring it down short of the line. And Tupou is with it. The chasers couldn't get a really good shot on Tupou there.
Just the energy of Clune, just getting himself involved in the game. Clifford is the one that scored that last try. And they've combined well together, haven't they? They've mixed the kicking game up. And he's been very impressive. Hasn't sat back and waited for things to happen, Adam Clune. He's gone and taken it.
I don't know, I called last night's game here on Fox League, got the same feeling today. You expected Souths at some point. Walker's going to put something on. It's going to happen. It didn't. And the Roosters, I'm feeling the same. Like you're expecting something to happen, but now we're down to the last 13 minutes. This will help. Penalty will take them inside the Knights half.
Contact on Fletcher. You go.
So high shot. We've had quite a few penalties. In fact, a dozen today. Set restarts, only the 3 of them.
Good work, Lachlan.
Connor Watson ready to come back into the game. Fletcher Baker's running out there for the Roosters. Garrett Warrior-Hargreaves is off. This is Collins. Tackle 1, 25 metres away from the Knights line. Not too many sets they've started this end of the second half. Tokiaho on that run. 16-2.
Look out now, Tyson.
Converted try,
Hold,
they'll
David.
still be 8 points down.
Hold, go 2.
The comeback has to start somewhere. Walker right up to the line. And Gagai's there, the old pro at right centre. The tackle on Butcher.
Go 3.
Tupou. Deep and right this time. Walker and Baker, great offload. Carey caught by Clune and Ponga. Nice moment for a young forward, Fletcher Baker there. This time Walker kick, in goal, Ponga's there. Ponga is taken in goal. A line drop out.
Yep.
Another set closer to victory for Newcastle.
Gee, I like Fletcher Baker. That was a great offload too. The support coming straight away from Luke Keary. Just look the way he leans into the tackle. It's a perfect offload before the line there, in traffic. And there's the finish off to the set. They've made sure they've cleaned the kickers up every time, haven't they? Put a couple of little grubber kicks through, and Walker and Keary, they've been put on the ground.
Crossland off for another minute. He's already appeared back out of the dressing rooms. And there you go. The dropout is out on the full. Manu did well. They'll get the penalty 10 metres out right in front of the sticks.
Wait, Drew.
At 16 points to 2, 11 minutes to go.
Wait, Drew. I need touches in position and everyone there.
There we go. Garrett's up.
Time
Let's
off.
take 2.
Go.
Roosters left side. Keary, Tedesco, Tupanua. And Satili is held up. Oh, Frizzell was hurt underneath all of that. Tedesco has been quiet, you say, for his standards in this second half. Back to centre field. The Knights will have the full complement in just a moment. It's still 13 on 12. Hutchison left, Keary, Tedesco, there's Tupou! Diving, but the touch judge flag is up. Mr. John Stone, the rock on the sideline, has the flag raised.
Middle.
No try.
Is that Dominic Young again? They're a man down. Gets in the slide here. Puts himself and his body on the line. There's the foot on the sideline. Well done. Had to turn around and chase.
Oh, he's been good, hasn't he? Dominic Young today. 7th game of first grade. He has really stood up today. The former Huddersfield Giant.
A big lad too, isn't he? Tall wingers on both sides. Tupou up against Dominic Young. And they'd both be 6'5", wouldn't they? Around that.
Oh, he's a bit taller than that, I think, Dominic Young. Yeah.
Wow. He's done well.
Crossland is back on. It is 13 on 13.
Don't you love that desperation, Andrew, when it looks like someone's got on your outside, and the desperation from the young fella.
Give them credit there to the Knights. The Roosters had more of the ball in that 10-minute period with Crossland off. And a lot of that ball was down this end. So that's a massive tick for the Knights. And the energy of this side and the commitment.
Go 2.
Now Clemmer. 9.5 to go. 16 points to 2.
Lock in, hold. Go 3.
Not possible that Knights would win the game, but I wouldn't believe you if you said the Roosters wouldn't score a try.
Well, that'd be the hardest thing to believe with the strike they've got in their side.
Fitzgibbon off man. Oh, best put it down. Play on Roosters. Manu offloads. Momirovski with the ball. He keeps it alive. Tedesco on the cricket pitch.
The good thing about this Newcastle Knights new-filmed attack, they're dangerous on both sides of the field. Best and Fitzgibbon on the left.
Up now, Jake.
And then on the right side, they've been potent with Gagai.
Roosters with the ball, starting another set. Inside the Knights half. 16 to 2. Under 9 minutes to go. Hutchison, Keary, Walker, Tedesco, up comes Gagai.
Nice.
He's had a big game. Dane Gagai playing very much the standard of an original Test player. Boy, oh boy, Siwa Tokiaho's lost the ball again.
And that's their 11th error too. That's very un-Rooster-like.
Yeah, over here. Another shot clock, boys. Make sure we have a halfback here, Roosters.
30 years since the Knights have held the Roosters tryless. Blocker, Fox Sports Lab, all over it again. 3 decades, Stephen.
What, 30 years?
30 years since they have held a Roosters side tryless. Denied them a 4-pointer. Again, the record going into today, just on stats alone, the Knights are rank outsiders. Won only 2 of the last 16 meetings. Haven't won in Sydney for about 7 different iPhones ago. It's a long time.
Drew, work out of there.
And here's the Knights in possession, 15 metres inside their own half. Man, Clune. Clune is running! He's opened them up! The former Dragon takes on Tedesco. Beat him once, almost beat him a second time. Newcastle 11 away from the line. Ponga fangs it right. Clifford does the same. Frizzell to Gagai. Gagai to Young. Young has scored for Newcastle. What a day Dominic Young is having.
What a finish.
He's from Huddersfield, you know.
Huddersfield.
He's from Huddersfield, the home of Rugby League in 1895.
I'll tell you what, he had plenty to do there. And well done by Tyson Frizzell to get the ball on the outside. It was a break there by Clune. Tell you what, he showed a fair bit of pace too to get downfield. Didn't try and force the issue. And as they've been doing all afternoon, side-to-side football, running the Roosters around, straight away from the break, they go to the right-hand side. Frizzell with the money ball. And Gagai there with the catch and pass. And look at that finish. Sensational stuff from the Knights.
My goodness. Dominic Young, what about that finish?
Well done.
At the SCG. Been some famous moments in corners here. That's the corner Sidney Williams scored for the Tigers in the 69 grand final against South Sydney. Shout out to you, Sid. Out in the western suburbs of Sydney. Great man.
Good man, City.
But Dominic Young has had his finest day in first grade. He's been good under the high ball. He's been good on kick returns. He's been good defensively, scramble. Yep. And now a try. Boy, pinch yourself, Knights fans, at that scoreline. 20 points to 2. 5.5 to go. And the number of contributors, I mean, Adam Clune's making a line break on the left side. The contributions of so many here today. This is a wonderful team performance. And it didn't just happen. It was sort of the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You sort of went, oh no, not much going on there. But
as soon as they started to get a little bit of confidence, made a couple of clean breaks, all of a sudden the belief steps in. As I said, they've got attack on both sides of the field. Their halves have been sensational, feeding the ball to their power runners. And they have deserved this. 20 to 2.
I know, you've got to keep saying it. Yeah, and there's the kick from Clifford. He misses. The 2 points was almost token-like. I mean, the Roosters just took the shot on half-time because they had run out of time. It could, in all intents and purposes, be 20-0.
They're playing that well, and so with so much confidence, they might score again here.
Thoughts on next game? Warriors, Dragons, blocker, tough to separate.
Yeah, pretty hard one, but I'll tell you what, I reckon they're my big improvers, the Dragons. I reckon they've gone out in the marketplace and bought better than anyone.
Sean Johnson we saw there, ready in the dressing room, his return to the Warriors. So Warriors, Dragons next, exclusive to Fox League.
Hopefully I'll be 5-1.
oh God. Storm and Tigers after that. What a round it has been, round one. And Roosters, is that a sign that, no, that's it. They go long. They don't even try the short kickoff there. At 20 points to 2, they're not in pursuit of the miracle. They've kicked long with 5 minutes to go. Clemmer takes the run. Fascinating match. Benji Marshall, Cooper Cronk, Braithen Astor to analyse all of this and preview the next one. Warriors and Dragons.
28 missed tackles from the Roosters in this whole game. It was 14 at half-time. You would have thought that they would have got a fair rev up, but they've come out and missed exactly the same in the second half.
That's unbelievable.
I've never unheard of from a Roosters team.
28-8, the missed tackle count between the two sides. As I say, offload's not the be-all and end-all, but Knights have dominated that category, 11-4. The line break count. You want to hear that one? You want to hear the line break count?
I think I know what it is.
Knights 6, Roosters 0.
Zip.
The one they did make was the disallowed try and were called back. 6-0 line breaks against the Roosters. Final 4 minutes now. And with it is Butcher. They've been makeshift out on that left side with Smith off the field. They lost Radley in the first half. But Trent Robinson will be conceding their opponents far too good today. Hutchison and Walker able to get through and then out for Tupou. First time that Sam Walker and Luke Keary have played in the same side today. Cross with Keary. He'll bomb looking for Momirovski or Manu. They're there. It's gone over the top. It's play on. Roosters will score.
Have a try.
Definitely a try to the Roosters. They get it late to Momirovski. Who in only his third game for the Roosters scores a third try.
And they had to score it off a crossfield kick too. Well planned at that time. They couldn't clean up at the back. Momirovski gets a fair bounce. He still had a little bit of work to do there. Showed good strength. The struggle out of a tackle and slam the football down. But, gee, it's taken them an age to score. Just couldn't clean up at the back. The bounce favours Momirovski. Spins out of the tackle, puts the ball down.
So the Roosters take 77 minutes to get their first try. The former Panther, Tiger and Storm player scores it on his return to the Roosters. And Walker will have his second shot of the day. Gee, it's a nice feeling for the Knights to say, oh, we concede a try and we got the 2 points in the bag.
Yeah.
Could concede another couple in the final 3 as Walker kicks, and that is across the face. Walker, first choice kicker. 20 points to 6 with 3 to go. It'll be amble back the Knights to restart play. The clock stops in the last 5, and we've learned. Look, no one's discarding the Roosters on the back of today's performance, but we've learned a lot about the Knights today. It's genuine what they have produced today.
Well, they've got some strike, Andrew. That's the big thing, and they've got the right blokes to the football at the right times. Well, Watson to be a little bit disappointed leaving the Knights, coming to the Roosters, playing at dummy half today for the Roosters, but they've just been far too good, haven't they? As we said, they've grown in confidence as the game's gone on.
By the way, Connor Watson will feature prominently in our first episode of The Fan tonight on Fox League. Following Super Saturday, he'll tackle our new riddle for the year. Connor's been very good previous seasons. Can we catch him out? You'll find out tonight. Here's Collins, back from the kick-off. Collins' stats, by the way, on return has made 11 hit-ups. No Roosters forward has run for over 100 metres today. Tokiaho has only just gone past that mark for the Knights. You've got Barnett, Frizzell, Clemmer all over the 100-metre mark. And here's the Roosters on halfway. But down by 14 with 2.5 to go. They'll try and finish with a little bit of razzle and dazzle. The Knights have put so much effort in. I don't think they'd want to see the Roosters in double figures. Hutchison and Walker, and then flooded over the top by Tedesco. Tupanua with the ball between defenders, kept it alive. Tupou did the same. Still the last tackle. Lovely stepping there by Walker. Flick pass and catch, something special. And that is the last tackle. There you go. Lindsay Collins. He is the tuber in the string section right at the finish. He got the ball.
Okay, Shorty.
And he's challenged.
We are on last tackle. Roosters are challenging the decision of a handover, claiming that a ball was touched in flight.
Wow.
Which pass do you reckon?
Touched in flight. Pulled that one out there.
Been right on the other side of the field there if it was touched. He was pretty confident too. Collins jumped up and said, that ball's been touched, here we go. Tedesco with that long spiralling pass over the top.
Yeah, they'll get to it.
Tupouniua gets the ball back on the inside. Is it touched here?
Yeah, they'll get to it, boys. I know.
I don't think that's touched by anyone there.
Well, somewhere here.
Still, Tupouniua remains in the field of play.
Now, is it here? Walker. They say Walker was saying.
Just looking to determine if there's a touch by the Newcastle player.
It's a bit of an anti-climax, isn't it? Here, yeah, there it is. It is touched. It's touched by Leo Thompson.
0 tackle with Lindsay Collins.
Leo Thompson touches the ball going forward, constituting a knock-on.
What's happened there is
Roosters players play on, the referee blows his whistle.
You get told to play to the whistle.
Challenge is successful.
Collins reacted to teammates ruling 6 to go.
Yeah, Lindsay's got to play at 0. 0 to Lindsay.
He hasn't heard anything from the referee. He just responded because his teammates
Lindsay,
said at 6
here,
to go.
mate.
So he took the tackle. Anyway, we have a decision. Successful challenge, Roosters.
0.
They've challenged well today, the Roosters. That's a plus. 5 metres away from the Knights line. 90 seconds to go. Keary and Walker. Hasn't been much joy today for Angus Crichton for the Roosters, I tell you. Hutchison, Keary, Collins drops the ball. Is there something poetic about that? The challenger has dropped the ball. And the Knights give him a little bit of lip.
It's a bit late for the Roosters to fire up. They're getting beat 20 to 6.
Mitch.
Have a look at the Mitch Barnett. He wants a little piece of Collins.
Just hold on that one, Stoney.
He was an innocent bystander there for most of it, and then thought, no, can't just have a little
come on, boys.
Look at the scoreboard. We lead 20 points to 6.
Probably said nice catch or something like
Yeah,
that.
rub it in, exactly. Just a bit of good old-fashioned sledging. There it is. Collins loses the ball. And then he has a little crack himself and gets it back in spades from all of them. Have a look at him. $30 to go.
45 seconds.
Benji Marshall, Cooper Cronk, Braithen Asser standing by in our host studio here on Super Saturday. Dragons, Warriors, get ready for that, you Dragons fans. Warriors fans, based on the results so far this weekend. Anything could happen tonight on Super Saturday.
Break.
The cue is in the rack for the Knights. For the 5th straight season, they will win their first round match. And the Roosters, well, their round 1 record's getting a little embarrassing. They've won just 3 of their past 10 in the first round. Well done to Adam O'Brien and his team. It's been as convincing to watch as it is on the scoreboard. Thompson on debut takes the final carry of the match. The Roosters beaten at home. It's another big story on Fox League in round number 1. Too good, the Knights.